Life can be full of surprises, but not always the good kind. That's why we're committed to providing safe, quick, and cost-effective care, and we keep it simple. Just walk in. We're here for you. Learn more today.
With exclusive buyer insights and our 100% money-back guarantee, we're confident we'll find buyers for your home. Howard Hanna. Home happens here.
And we are calling to you live from headquarters on North French Road. It's the inaugural girls soccer postseason preview for Section 6 and Monsignor Martin here on Western New York Athletics. Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for making us part of your Monday night. I am Joe Kraus, and we have a great show on hand for you for about the next hour or so. Joined with us tonight with me are Paul Catrona, Mr. Soccer himself, and all the way from the Southern Tier, the man from Jamestown, Alex Colsty, is in the house with us. So, gentlemen, it is good to see you both. Are you guys excited to get this started?
Absolutely.
Very, very much so. You know, we love soccer, so we only have an hour to talk, so I'll be quiet for right now.
And we'd also like to give a big shout-out to our man in the chair, Francis Beck. He's our producer. Once again, big thank you to Francis. And, yes, as we said, we have about an hour or so. We thank you all for joining us on our YouTube page, our Facebook page. We're also on Twitter and, of course, our website, wiathletics.com. A big thank you to all the coaches, really, that made this show possible. We gave these coaches a questionnaire heading into the postseason, and like we said, for the next hour, we're going to go through all of the Section 6 brackets, starting with Class AA momentarily, as well as Class A, B, C, and D. In our last segment, in Monsignor Martin, we were just told that their regular season is still underway. About a couple weeks left. The postseason for Monsignor Martin will be in early November. The championship, Saturday, November 6th at Canisius College. But we have a lot on hand. Paul, you've been around soccer, high school soccer especially, for the past few decades now. Just heading into postseason play, what's it like just having those type of opportunities?
Well, you know, now's the time, right? So now's the time for you to get everything buttoned down, get yourself mentally prepared, know that the weather may become a factor. You'll have a couple games for sure that's going to be inclement weather, a couple games that might be gorgeous weather. But really, it's time to just come out, most of all, have fun. Know that this is a great opportunity. You're going to compete against somebody who's, you know, another team that's just as good as you are, perhaps better. But go out. You've prepared yourself now. Go out and just have some fun. And, you know, at the end of the game, you leave it between the white lines. Shake hands and know that you've done your best.
Alex, really quickly, you followed soccer really, especially the Southern Tier this past season. What's it been like, just that atmosphere of, you know, Southern Tier soccer in Western New York?
The Southern Tier, especially this year, it seems like it's been a lot more competitive than it has been in years past. In years past, we've had like a couple of different schools that really kind of stood out above the rest. I mean, we'll talk about them in a little bit. I know Frewsburg's been one of those schools, but when I look at especially the CCAA West 1, that division was wide open into the last week of the season. And we'll get more into that, I know, as we go on. But the Southern Tier's been wide open. A lot of good competitive teams down there.
And as Alex just said, we will get down to the Southern Tier in just a moment. But let's start, gentlemen, with Class AA, the big guns for many, many years. And we're going to, for those at home, as we just said, each coach provide us a questionnaire. Francis sent out a few questions about what the teams should be expecting for the postseason. So these were their responses, and we're going to start in Class AA, as I mentioned, with the Winslow North Spartans. Their head coach is Mr. Douglas Kircher. Last season, this season, they're trying to redeem themselves. They lost in semifinal action, and they have a host of players that have really been the key players so far in 2022. When you're looking at players like Izzy Schmidt, Schmidt, Savannah Penetrante, Ashley Roca, Ella Navis, Brooke Silliman, and Kylie Davis for the Wold North Spartans. And there have really been a couple of surprising players as well, as Coach Kircher did say. Ella Navis has really stepped up, as well as Kylie Davis, as well as Portia Snyder and Allie Viscon, to help this Williamsville North team really just head right down the stretch. As you can see the standings for Class AA on your screen, they did finish 6-8-1 overall, so pretty solid for the Spartans. Some challenges, though, this season for Williamsville North, as Coach Kircher said, just trying to find some more scoring opportunities, having consistent play, some consistency in the midfield play especially. Only a +3 goal minus differential heading into the sectional postseason, and that is really why Coach Kircher is saying we need to have some solid defense to have some success, and really the expectations are to be playing at the highest level possible. So that is Williamsville North. Big thanks to Coach Douglas for that. And Paul, you have the Lancaster Legends. Really, last season, the big shocker against Clarence, and they're ready to go once again.
Yep, that was a shocking game. I was there. We were announcing it. And the Lancaster keeper last year was a senior, Shay Vanderbosch, a fabulous, fabulous keeper. Had a wonderful game. But, now this is this year. So Coach Julie Taylor's leading the charge again. She's a seasoned coach. She's been there a bit. So what have been your key players for Coach? Coach said Julia Benham, midfielder, Sienna Wolf, Brooke Bauer, Natalie Grazen, defender Claire Jones, and a defender Samantha Caitlin. And then who have you been your surprise players? Claire Jones, a 7th grader. And that is and she's got a 7th grade keeper, Allison. I'm gonna butcher the last name, but Allison, pardon me. It's Dimtrovsky, 7th grade keeper. That's an amazing thing. We asked, what challenges have you faced? Injuries. Injuries happen in soccer a lot, and it can really, really throw your game off. So I'm sure Lancaster's seasoned team. Otherwise, they lost a great keeper, still a very good program, very good coaching staff, and I'm sure they have their sights into another championship.
Absolutely. And now we turn to Alex, who is going to tell you a little bit about the Lockport Lions this postseason.
All right, so Lockport coming into this season this postseason. Laura Scapa. Sorry, I will butcher the last name. Unfortunately, it's Laura Scapaletti, the head coach for the Lady Lions. They lost in the quarterfinals last season. Your key players you're looking at: Cameron Chiavetti, Taylor Fiegel, Morgan McKay, Gianna Pascari. And then their surprises, their goaltender, Ava Bragg, and then on defense, Camera Cummings. And then some of the challenges they were facing this year, a fairly small roster at the start, and only got smaller because of some key injuries. And they lost 2 players to season-ending injuries and have had several others that missed multiple games due to injuries. So injuries piling up right before the postseason, probably not the most ideal thing you want, but if you could go in the postseason with some of those key players coming back healthy, that will definitely go a long way. And then looking for what they're trying to focus on, they want to try to come together and play as a unit, play as one. They face a great deal of adversity throughout the year on several fronts, and they need to be able to push through that adversity and come together as one team to try to push through the playoffs. And they're hoping just to, compete the entire 80 minutes of the game or more if necessary. That AA bracket, it's stacked. There's a lot of good teams in Class AA. So no game is going to be easy. They need to be ready to give it all that they have.
Absolutely. And, Paul, we did a Lockport game a couple weeks ago when they visited Grand Island. Grand Island had a 3-goal lead to start at about the first 15 minutes of play, but Lockport really held their own right down the stretch against that very tough Vikings team that we'll talk about in just a little bit, too.
Yeah, they really got off to it. They had a really good game plan going. Grand Island has a couple key players who can really put the ball in the net. But we watched Lockport really have a nice build-up, get that ball across into that final third. They had a couple really, really nice strikers that put one. I think one was in pretty early. It was a hard-fought match. They're going to be. They could be considered a dark horse in this game or in this match or in this bracket, and because they have some, as Alex said, there's some big schools there with big soccer traditions. And then, you always have to watch out for that team that really, really comes at you strong. They were also a very physical team.
Especially Cameron Trevetti, one of the top forwards in all of Section 6. We're going to move on now to the Clarence Red Devils. This is a very prestigious program in Section 6 in Class AA. Matt Andrews is only in his third season with the Red Devils, but Clarence has had plenty of success. Heading into this one, they lost in the sectional finals to Lancaster that we just talked about a moment ago that Paul just explained about the Legends. That was a very hard-fought sectional final between the Red Devils and the Legends. Lancaster won, and it really snapped a long streak for Clarence. Clarence looking for another sectional title. They've won 8 of the last 9 since 2013. To put it into perspective, guys, that was when One Direction was the hottest band on the planet. So Clarence trying to keep that going, and it's really starting with a host of key players, including a player you'll hear from in just a couple of minutes, Kaylee O'Brien, who is heading to Youngstown State this upcoming fall. She has had a sensational senior campaign up at forward, and again, we'll have some players who like to share their perspectives heading into the postseason. But along with Kaylee, Sammy Jo Payne, Michaela Stainbrook, Katie Capalucci, Emily McLeod, and Gabby Irwin were really the players that Coach Matt Andrews, again, only his third season with the program. He's been around West New York soccer for a long time. Those are the girls that he has really relied on. He didn't really say that there were any surprises per se in terms of his really surprises, but he thought about it. He said if you really had to push me, he would say our 4 backs and our keeper. The backs, Michaela Stainbrook, Katie Capalucci, Zoe Snitzer, and Jolie Brady are the 4 in the back, and then the goalkeeper, Emily McLeod, especially. And Coach Andrews also said it's really been a challenge to have the history of success as every other team is shooting to beat you every game. They probably have the biggest bullseye in the back of their shirts when they go out there, and really getting every team's best effort as they are all very motivated to try and beat us. So try to contain that and really try to improve. Coach Andrews said that they have to just continue improving and working hard every day, making sure that no outside distractions get in the way of the team goals, which are, for this season, getting back to the sectional championship, winning another sectional title, hopefully going on to states. And really, it started off this past season, they started off by defeating last year's Section 5 and Section 3 champions. Section 3 champions, both were victorious in those games, were the Clarence Red Devils, and really just trying to build off that momentum. They just have to keep going down the stretch. So Clarence is fired up. Again, trying to, since 2013, it would be their 9th in the last 10 years if they get the victory down the stretch. But that's Clarence. Clarence, one of the top 2 teams in Class AA. We'll get to the bracket in just a moment. But Paul, another team coming down the pipe, the Frontier Falcons.
Okay, and they're led by head coach Ronald Sporzens. They last year lost in the semifinals. What key players does he have? There's a senior, Bailey Cowling, a senior, Marv Gregorio, freshman, Sophie Clara, an 8th grader, Addie Malkas, a sophomore, Ellie Gleason on defense. He's got a couple juniors and another freshman that's playing. So he said, what are the challenges that you face this year? And he's talked about how he's a young team. He has 4 freshmen starting, an 8th grader and a 7th grader. On the season, it's hinged on the play of Bailey Cowling and Abby Zemokowik. While they've had some difficulty scoring, Bailey and Abby have been the main reasons for their goals and their goal-scoring opportunities. What was your expectations for the postseason? I loved what he wrote over the years, we've traditionally advanced to the semifinals. We're hopeful and optimistic that we will be back in the semifinal game again this year and have an opportunity to play for the championship game. What I love about that is he's challenging his team on two different levels. They're young. It's going to be a difficult task. It's the first time for a lot of these kids, and he's got a 7th and 8th grader. In the future, those are going to be key players for him. But setting the table in a realistic way. Let's get to the semis. And then if we get to the semis, let's make that championship our focus. So I think that's a credit to him, a credit to that team. And, sometimes the soccer gods are smiling on you, and you make it. And you exceed it. So good luck to the Falcons this playoff season.
Absolutely. We'll keep rolling along with a program that Alex is very familiar with, the Jamestown Red Raiders. So take it away.
Yeah, it's only my alma mater. No big deal. So Jamestown this year, they fit under Kelsey Louiso. They finished 11-4 overall, 8-4 in league play, clinching their first league title in program history. Very good season for Jamestown. We're not traditionally a soccer school, so this is definitely reason to celebrate. And a key part to their success, Ella Profiter, Corinne Mims, Julia Smith, Madison Burgess, playing up in that midfield and those forward positions. They've been leading the charge. And then on the back end, they've had Marsha McIntyre, an 8th grader, Emma Kurzanek anchoring down that defense, and then Morgan Maloney has been stellar in that for Jamestown this year. And then a few players that stood out to Coach Louiso, Kendall Hughes, Amara Pacheco, and Kaylee Leeper. Those three played primarily defense and midfield. And kind of the challenges they were facing this year, which I noticed a little bit in the few games that I covered. A little bit of a lack of communication, a little bit better on passing and working on possession a little bit. It seemed like in most of the games that I was seeing them play, they would try to rush their passes a little bit. But as the season went on, it seemed like they kind of got a little bit better, but definitely something you want to refine coming into playoff time, because soccer, it's an opportunistic sport. You have to take advantage of your opportunities when you get them. So they need to kind of hone in on that possession and make those passes better. They might have a little bit of success. So again, that's probably what they need to focus on a little bit more. And then this is the first time in 6 years that they've participated in the playoffs.
6 years.
It's been a long time for them. It's been a long time for the boys program, too. So, Jamestown, we're kind of trying to rebuild the soccer program a little bit. But, it takes baby steps to do that sort of thing. And I guess a little bit to go forward on Jamestown a little bit. Corinne Mims, I mentioned her playing in the midfield, 21 goals, 11 assists this year. She was tied for 12th in the entire section in goals, which is huge for a Jamestown team that hasn't had a lot of that goal scoring. And then Morgan Maloney, we mentioned her. She saved 170 shots on 186 shots faced. Busy goaltender down in that CCAA division. But they held their own, and now it's time to see how they stack up against the rest of the AA field.
Yes, that's right. That's huge. The first time in 6 years. So obviously, Jamestown is very excited about that. And then finally, to wrap up our Class AA bracket here on our girls soccer playoff preview from West York Athletics, the Niagara Falls Wolverines, their head coach Leah Ponticello. The Wolverines only a 1-11 record in 2022, and they're trying to move past a first-round loss in the last postseason. But Coach Ponticello has really relied on the trio of Bria Freeman, Sophia Contento, and Colette Priddup to have some big success. And Priddup, even the player that Ponticello listed as the surprise player that really had a breakout season for the Wolverines. Again, only a 1-win campaign for Niagara Falls. But really the big thing going into the postseason in order to have that success is just having a greater sense of possession of the ball. Just a lot of turnovers, so trying to limit that. And really the best predictor of the future for the program is really just trying to get past some of those past struggles on and off the field. So that's Niagara Falls for the Wolverines to wrap up the Class AA bracket. And as we mentioned at the top of our broadcast, we were able to go out into the field and talk with some of the players that shared their perspective on what they're looking forward to this postseason. And we now have Kaylee O'Brien from Clarence. And we're here with Kaylee O'Brien of the Clarence Red Devils. Kaylee, the playoffs are just around the corner, and your team has been one of the top teams in Class AA. What has been the key to your team's success this season?
Honestly, just getting to know each other on and off the field, learning how we all play because we're a newer team. It's just really helped us throughout the season improve and keep getting results.
You have 9 goals and 9 assists this season, Kaylee. You're one of the top playmakers in Class AA and Western New York. In your opinion, what has been the key to your individual success?
I think it's the people around me. I mean, it's really easy to pick up assists when I have great forwards in front of me, and I have people feeding the ball from behind me for the goal, so it's really just been everyone around me that's helped.
There are 8 teams competing in Class AA for the sectional crown. What are your thoughts on the competition? Are there any teams that cause any concern for Clarence?
I think the competition is high, and I know that we have to bring our game every game because any team could really beat us if we're off our game. So we just gotta focus, keep our heads down, and keep working.
Last season, Clarence lost to Lancaster in the sectional finals. I imagine that's a loss that still stings the team. But overall, Clarence has won 8 of the last 9 in Class AA since 2013. Kaylee, what would it mean for you and maybe the seniors especially to start a new streak and even bring back another title to Clarence?
Yeah, it would be great. I mean, that's our goal. It's our goal every season. It would be awesome to bring it back. I mean, the loss last year was tough, but I think it helped us going forward in what we have to do and how much we have to work for it.
And lastly, you kind of led into it. What does the team have to do in order to have a successful postseason run?
I know for us, we've talked about just not getting ahead of ourselves, focus game by game because all of them are going to be hard in their own way, and we can't let up. If we don't let up, then hopefully it'll work out good for us.
That's Kaylee O'Brien from the Clarence Red Devils. Kaylee, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Again, that's Kaylee O'Brien from Clarence High School, the senior, 9 goals, 9 assists this season, heading to Youngstown State in the fall, as we mentioned. So best of luck to Kaylee moving forward. And as we mentioned, Clarence, they have won 8 of the last 9 Class AA titles. You gotta go back all the way to 2013 to 2020, and they also won 6 regional championships during that span. So Clarence trying to get back on to more success. And speaking of that, as we will take a look at the postseason bracket, we have number 1 Clarence, 14-1 overall, 9-1 in ECIC, taking on Niagara Falls. They will take on moving on, they will advance, hopefully, and will take on either Frontier or Jamestown to head to the semifinals that will be held at North Tonawanda on October 27th at 7:30. So in the upper bracket, guys, we have Clarence, Niagara Falls, Frontier, Jamestown. Anything really surprise you from those 2 matchups up top specifically?
No, not at all. I mean, Clarence, just a great team. They have a couple players, that I wanted to key in just a little bit. Sammy Jo Payne. Somebody told me world-class speed, but not only that, but she's so good with the ball. She's a definite D1 prospect. Kaylee O'Brien, just another. She's a Cleveland State commit. Another just great player. And then Gabby Irwin. She's almost as fast as Sammy. So you're going to see a team that really can move that ball forward, attack the net, and they put it in. So for Niagara Falls, they're going to get out there. They're going to do their very best. I anticipate Clarence in that matchup. Jamestown sounds like an exciting team. I wish I would have seen them. I love the enthusiasm. So they are the higher-ranked team there?
Yeah. Well, they're the 5th seed. Frontier's the 4th seed in the bracket here, but Jamestown, I already talked about Corinne Mims, 21 goals on the season. She's been backed up in that midfield with Ella Proctor, which most of Western New York is probably familiar with her kicking for the Red River football team, kicking point after attempts. But on the soccer field this year, 8 goals, 6 assists on the season. She is like a cheetah in that midfield. The closing speed she has on these defenders has been insane to watch. She's gotten a lot of breakaways. She's gotten a lot of shots off. If she gets space, she will take it. And then backing up her on the outside, Madison Burgess, also a lot of speed. Burgess also has a very dangerous shot from outside the box. 5 goals, 4 of those have been from outside the 18-yard box up on the sideline. It's a very deceptive shot. That's something that Frontier's going to need to look out for. This Jamestown team, it's not like any other Jamestown team in the past. This team is fast. This team is physical. They're going to give Frontier all that they have.
Definitely. As we take a look at the bottom half of the bracket, you have number 2 Lancaster, as we talked about, 10-5-1. Overall, they will face Lockport in the quarterfinals, a 2-7 matchup. And then the 3-6 matchup, Paul, Will North taking on Orchard Park. The Orchard Park Quakers taking on the Windsor Spartans that we talked about to kick off this segment. But when you look at that bottom, Lancaster, Lockport, Will North, Orchard Park, what surprises you? How could that be forecasted out?
Well, Lancaster is just chock full of soccer players. So when we talk about some teams have all the speed, size, ability, Lancaster just has a really good team. When you go into the playoffs, that can get you far. Lockport, middle of the road team, 500 team. So they're going to have their hands full. Will North, Orchard Park, that's just a traditional rivalry in every sport. So outside of the Williamsville schools, I know for sure that they're just going to be up for Orchard Park and vice versa. The Will North coach Doug has been there for I'm not even sure, 15 years. So he's a very well-seasoned coach. He'll have his team prepared. I would imagine we're going to see a Lancaster Will North semi. Well, and again, we're only guessing on a lot of these things because we don't know for sure. But the odds are those two teams. And shall I give you my final? So
I guess I'll leave that into you. Your final prediction. Do we think it's Clarence and Lancaster in the finals again, or does another team make it through?
They're the two best teams. So they're the two best teams. I'm going to go with those guys. And I jinxed the Clarence coach last year because they had such a great team. They might have had 3 D1 players. They played fabulous, and then they ran into a goalkeeper that made, I think I told you before, 5 unbelievable stops.
Yes.
And 3 of them were like watching Josh Allen jump over that guy last night.
Yes.
They were that good of like, wow. And she stopped them. So this year, I'm sure Clarence has this game circled. They want Lancaster, and they want redemption. I'm not saying revenge because I don't believe in that kind of stuff, but they want redemption to say, we were the better team. You guys played great last year, but we're moving on. So
it definitely should be exciting. The 2 semifinal rounds will be on October 27th on the campus of North Tonawanda High School, 5:30 and 7:30 p.m. And then the Class AA Finals, November 1st, a 5:30 kickoff on the campus of Sweet Home High School. So that is the entire Class AA bracket. Be sure to visit the Section 6 girls soccer website to find out more, but that is a look at Class AA. When we return after the break, we'll take a look at the Class A bracket. Don't go away. You're watching the girls soccer playoff preview of Western New York Athletics.
Sometimes it just isn't your day. We all need a little help from time to time. That's why we're committed to providing safe, quick, and cost-effective care. And we keep it simple. Just walk in. We're here for you. Learn more today.
Do you insure a lot of businesses?
Yes, we do.
How about restaurants?
We got a bunch.
Do you cover property damage?
Yes, we do.
How about my equipment?
Covered.
How about sewer backup?
We got it.
What if my cook gets hurt?
They're covered.
Foodborne illnesses?
Covered.
What if my party tent goes down?
Covered under property damage.
And you say this is all under one policy?
One policy.
When do I pay?
Once a month.
Just one time?
Just one.
Is there anything you don't cover?
What's your record for consecutive questions asked?
31.
Tables. We don't do tables.
Gotta love Buffalo.
For all your insurance questions, call the Wolf at 835-WOLF.
We realize now more than ever is the perfect time to have the perfect house. We're confident we'll find your dream home. Howard Hanna. Home happens here.
And we welcome you inside our studio. Joe Kraus, Paul Catrona, Ellis Coasty with you on the Girls Soccer Playoff Preview brought to you by West York Athletics tonight, and we're going to take a look at the Class A bracket. But before we get to our first team, Williamsville Southwood, would like to again send our thoughts and prayers and condolences to the family of former longtime coach here at Williamsville South, Kevin McNamara. Coach Mac would like to send his best to his wife, Cheryl. And Paul, you had a long-time relationship with Coach Mac. You had 4 daughters go through the Billies program. And I guess considering it's been just over a month now since his passing, I guess because Coach Mack had so many relationships throughout Section 6, it wasn't just him staying at Williamsville South. He contacted pretty much anybody. He was willing to give anyone the help that they requested. What did that mean in terms of Coach Mack's legacy, Paul, in terms of Section 6 girls soccer especially?
Well, so our history, we knew Coach. I've known Coach Mack and his family about 15 years. I can't say enough about the human being that he was. So an example of what you were just talking about, his selflessness. My daughter played at Will South, and she played on a team full of Will East players. At that time, South, I don't know for how many years. I don't think they beat them 10 years. Maybe. It was a long time. Even one game. But, Coach Mack took all those girls from, I think Christmas was, maybe there was 2 South players, maybe, and everybody else was Williamsville East, and he coached them like they were his own kids, his own children, his own players. And I asked him one time, and I said, Coach, you're coaching Williamsville East kids to play well, and they're going to come in here and do, play against your team. And he goes, yeah, but, he goes, at the end of the day, it's only about children, getting kids better at this game that he loves so much. And he just shared it. He taught me about how soccer is a sharing sport. Everything about the man was about sharing. I could tell you a million more stories about him, but that's the way he was. And you know what? At the end of the day, and they would lose a playoff game, he'd still go to dinner with the coach that defeated him. He never talked about anybody losing or winning when they were winning. It was just a great time. He was just a very special human being, taught many life lessons. So, so for me, that it's a tremendous loss. And for my family and for the South family and for the girls that are playing right now, which we can probably start talking about. So Melissa Spada is the new head coach. She was the JV coach. She's done a really nice job with this team. Coach Max looking down from that cloud, just prouder than proud could be, because he always told me about players. I'd say, why can't these kids do more? He goes, when it's time to blossom, they'll blossom. Until then, we just keep watering them. So players that he's been coaching over the past few years, Ava Plezia, Paige Szymanski, Morgan McCormick, Reagan Moore, and Meredith Swenson. I've seen these kids just grow as players and become more dominant players. And, what was the surprise player so far this year? Meredith Swenson, Morgan McCormick. I've watched Meredith as a 9th grader, always just came at players and just so much effort. And she's really blossomed into a really, really good player. So kudos to her. And what challenges? Well, having your long-term coach pass away, how would the players react? They wear every game. They have a little band on their wrist with Coach McNamara was Coach Mac, just with him on there so they can remember him and the life lessons. He would not want them not to go out there and just give it their all. So that was great. What do they have to be successful in postseason? And some of the notes now on my computer aren't there, but I know Coach Spada. So what do they have to do? They have to control the ball. They need to stop goals from going in, obviously, and they need to be opportunistic, like Alex was talking about. Those were exactly what she said. And then what are expectations? They want to win. They want to win the season. They want to win Class A, undoubtedly. They want to do it for Coach Mack. They want to do it for themselves. And they want to do it for their family and for their friends in the school. So good luck to South. They've got a good younger team still, and we'll see how far they can get.
Absolutely. Let's keep things going now. Alex talking about Kenmore West, the Blue Devils having a good season.
Yeah, pretty good season for Ken West. Their coach is Kent and Below. They lost in the quarterfinals, Class A quarterfinals last season. This year, Juliana Beltran and Julissa Beltran have been two of the key players, along with Kaylee Davis, Ella Lawless, Campbell Dickinson, Lizzie Baker, and their goaltender, Izzy Borgio. I know I butchered that. And Borgio has been one of their surprise players, a goaltender that hasn't had much experience playing in net, but she's succeeded at that. And then they've had Annalise Haynes, Annalise, a 9th grader, her second year on varsity, showing improvement from her 8th grade year, which that's something you don't see a lot of in the Buffalo schools. I know we see it all the time in the Southern Tier. You know, middle schoolers gain that opportunity at the varsity level. You don't see it as much in the Buffalo area like you do in the Southern Tier, but any player that's a middle schooler cracking a varsity roster in like 7th and 8th grade, that is a special player to watch out for. So as far as Chem West, the challenges they're looking at there, they've been enjoying the season so far. They're just trying to keep learning every day, trying to improve every day, and trying to focus on playing together as a team and being patient when they have the ball, and again, trying to create those opportunities and capitalizing on them when they get the chance. And they're hoping to expect to compete in every game they're playing this postseason, which that's the goal when you are in playoffs. You want to be able to be competitive so that when those opportunities come, you can strike.
Absolutely. Kenmore West 7-8-1 overall this season. Woodsville South that we talked about a moment ago 12-4 overall. And West East, you're up next on our playoff preview. Looking to get some momentum. Only a 2-14 campaign here in 2022 with Coach Becca Embry, but they're trying to get past the first round of the postseason. That's where their season ended last fall. And they have a lot of veterans on the team for the Trojans, starting with at sweeper Jaleisha De Jesus, Jenna Latowiak as a stopper, Julia Heiss on defense, Kara Rath, center forward, Eleanor Keene as a midfielder, as well as Angelina Carosia. And Angelina and Kara are really two of the top freshmen around in Section 6. And Coach Becca Embry said that they really put forth some excellent effort and excelled on the field for it being their first time around at the varsity level. Taylor Blomowski and Allison Heiss as well have been two really outstanding young players for this West Seneca East team. Again, only 2 wins heading into the postseason, but anything goes. Everything is thrown out the window as we head into postseason time. Really a very young team at West Seneca East. They graduated many seniors from last season, and there hasn't been a junior varsity team at West Seneca East for several years. It's really been a lot of the players making a jump from modified straight to a varsity. So that's really something that we haven't seen a lot at other programs in Section 6, but that's what's going on at West Seneca East, trying to continue to grow the program, move in the right direction, and carry that moving forward, really relying on those fundamentals. So again, West Seneca East hopefully will have some more luck in postseason play. So let's keep things going now. Back to Paul with another Williamsville team, the Williamsville East Flames at the top, 12-2, 12-0 in their division. They're looking really good going in.
Yeah, they are the class of Class A. Williamsville East, year after year, has a tremendous program. I believe every one of their players play for a traveling club or higher. So, head coach Paul Lucy has been there a couple years now. They lost in the semifinals last year. They're just stocked with soccer players, to tell you the truth. Emily Wollington, Fiona Comfort, Gianna Tuzlu. I know her last name very well, and I'm butchering it. Gianna Tuzoluni. lean low. Anyway, we'll just move on. I'm so sorry, Gianna, when she can yell at me later. Gabby Lifton, Sarah Brunskill, Clara Wollington, Ava Thompson, Maddie Wolfner, who has been your surprise players? Kelly Carver, Olivia Cameron. Just this team is just stocked. What are your challenges? So really, he's going to probably I don't know what their challenges are really. Put Will South, Niagara, Wheatfield, Clarence. Those are challenging teams. What his challenge is probably make sure his team's focused. I think last year they just lost a little focus in the playoffs, and that's what cost them. They're a very, very talented team. They are the top team in this Class A.
Absolutely. The Flames having a great success across the board this fall season. The football team doing very well as well. We're going to keep things going now in our playoff preview with the Kenmore East Bulldogs with Alex, the Bulldogs, and their longtime coach, Jamie Rappel, 3-11 this season. What are they looking to expect this postseason?
Well, they lost in the first round last season, so obviously they're looking to improve on that this year, and they'll be riding on Marina Colosimo, Chloe Cummings, Jane Riley, Ava Grady, and Brooke Kramer to lead them hopefully past the first round this year. We'll see come playoff time. Coach Rapel didn't list any players who have really stuck out to him as a surprise player. The thing they need to focus on to have success, though, outwork their opponents and then put the ball in the back of the net. Simple as that. Yet again, be opportunistic. Get your opportunity and strike.
Absolutely. The Kenmore East Bulldogs get ready to compete in Class A. Now we're going to talk about one of the top heavyweights in Class A for many years, the Niagara Wheatfield Falcons, and their coach, James Blankenship, a longtime coach out in Sanborn. And the Falcons, they're looking to redeem themselves. You mentioned that word earlier. As the Falcons lost in the semifinals last season, they had a lot of success in the past couple years, advanced to the actually won the Niagara Frontier League title back in 2020. So they've had all this momentum the past couple years, and it's really started with a host of veterans: Glenn Jaros, Leah McDonald, Sarah Magrat, Sam Ferrin. That is the back four for this Falcons team that especially our viewers out in Sanborn really know about. And then we have Katie Dina, as well as Tori DiCarlo, Caitlin Parker, Marissa Ricker, Sydney Gallus, and Casey Mosher, all really provide that offensive firepower for the Falcons. 12-1-1 overall, 10-1 in NFL play, really having that big success. And Leah McDonald, Ava DeWald have really stepped up this season for the Falcons. And really the main concern for Coach Blankenship heading into what could potentially be another deep postseason run is keeping everyone on the team healthy and focused on the task at hand, one game at a time. And I would say they have done just that. Outside of a non-league loss, I believe you and Stu were on the call a couple weeks ago against St. Mary's, Niagara Wheatfield has really run the gamut here in Class A and in NFL play. 12-1-1 overall, just trying to keep that positive hunger going for the Falcons, just bringing that swarming pressure, we could say as well, and really just trying to make it as deep as possible. So the Falcons, and we'll hear from the goalkeeper, Tristan Davis, in just a couple of minutes here on our playoff preview show, as we go back to West Seneca, though, with the West Seneca West Indians in Paul. They're trying to keep things going as well, trying to get past the first round. That is where it ended last season.
Right, Coach Justin DeLauro. He's got plans for his club. He really believes in them. He's got a goalkeeper, Jordan Brown, midfielder Ava Barth, L'Oreal Ubansky, Alex Giannis, Carly Lawrence, Emily Huber, Grace Garino, and Peyton Kane. What I loved about that is he named out a lot of players, right? So he's got a bunch of kids that he really believes in. He said, what was his challenges? And he said, well, we play a Class AA schedule, so it drops us down. When we drop down to Class A, it kind of skews their playoff standing. So I take that to mean he's laying down a little gauntlet. He's laying it down for his club. He's laying it down for anybody who might have heard this. he's expecting a good performance and to move up in this playoff. So I love the talk. I love the positivity, and you can really see that he believes in these kids. So again, good luck to them, and we'll move on then.
Yeah, West Echo West 5-10-1 overall heading into postseason play. And up next, we have all the way from North Tonawanda, the NT Lady Jacks, and their coach, Hannah Crouch, leading the Lady Jacks in Class A fashion once again. Last season, the Lady Jacks lost in the sectional semifinals, but the Lady Jacks have really rebounded this season. They won the NFL title this past fall a couple weeks ago, their first since, I believe, 2019, and this is a really veteran group. This is a group that has been with Coach Crouch for the past few seasons now, starting with the Lyons sisters, Elizabeth and Molly Lyons. Elizabeth really the star on that offensive side of the ball for the Lady Jacks. Gabby Giesing with 9 goals as a freshman in midfield. Emily Zander, that presence midfield as well. Paige Spadarico, and then the defensive end, Shay O'Rourke, Kelsey Meredith, and Brooke Barone have really provided this core and really built the culture for the Lady Jacks. Elizabeth Lyons quietly scoring double-digit goals and has really been one of the biggest leaders. This is what Coach Crouch said to us on and off the field. That is so a pretty high compliment going to Elizabeth Lyons, especially just a class act on and off the field. And really, after being slightly injured the past few seasons, the Lady Jacks have really been able to have that possibility of bringing back one of their top players. It looks like, if we could get it, is Brooke Barone really stepping into being a standout on defense for her senior campaign. And Emma Stahl is a player to keep an eye on for the future. Only a freshman and up-and-coming defender with a lot of potential. The Lady Jacks, of course, were trying to figure out what was life going to be like once Kylie Moranto graduated. She's now excelling at Damon University. 69 points last season as well. And the Lady Jacks, it's now the scoring is more balanced. A lot of opportunities coming for the NT Lady Jacks, 11-2 in regular season play out in the Lumber City. And now we're going to turn it to Alex to wrap up Class A. The Amherst Tigers looking to keep things going here in 2022.
Yep, the Tigers lost in the semifinals last season, coached by Joanna Fields. She's been relying on her goalkeeper, Kelsey Sorensen, her midfielder, Sophie Rourke, Mackenzie Vukelik, and Maeve McKenzie on defense, Maya Trebway, and then up at forward, Marion Cleary and Ireland Hall. Her midfield, and no surprise players really this season for her that she gave us. And then thing that Amherst needs to control on, finishing the ball in the final third of the field. Again, get that ball inside the box, get your opportunities and finish it. I feel like I'm kind of a broken record at this point, but it's kind of the same goal for all these teams. Take advantage of your opportunities when you get them.
Amherst, especially 10-5-1 this season. So we mentioned our player for Class A, the goalkeeper from Niagara Wheatfield. Here's my conversation with Tristan Davis. And we are here with Tristan Davis of the Niagara Wheatfield Falcons. Tristan, the playoffs are right around the corner for your team. And what's been the key to your team's success this season?
I think the key has been scoring and just playing all together as a team compared to who kind of, considering all of us have been playing basically together since my sophomore year, we've all been able to gel together and most of the play travel together, so it's been very team-oriented.
Tristan, you've only allowed just 9 goals this season, and this is technically just your second full season as a varsity goalkeeper. How would you describe your individual success? What's been the key for that?
I think it's supposed to be individual, but I think my whole defense, Gwen Jarose, Sam Friend, Sarah Maggs, Leah McDonald, best defenders I could ever ask for. They're amazing.
We're looking at a 13-team bracket for Class A this postseason. What are your thoughts on the competition this postseason? Any teams that give you concern?
I haven't really looked into it. I just kind of go into it winging it. I don't really look at it. I just look at any team. I'm like, oh, we're playing that. It's more like, oh, let's see if I can play really cool. Make some cool saves. That's about it.
Last season, Niagara Wheatfield in the sectional semis to Grand Island. I imagine the loss still kind of stings for you girls, but now you have a chance to bring home a sectional title this season. It'll be the second time in 3 years. What would it mean to bring a sectional title back to Sanborn?
I think it'd be really cool. Obviously, we know what, most of us know what it's like to win a because COVID kind of ruined that. So, I think it'd be cool, and I think it could have. I kind of want to go farther than just sectionals. I kind of want to go into states and everything like that, but focus one game at a time. That's really it.
And lastly, Tristan, what does the team have to do to have a successful postseason run?
Have some fun. That's really it. Every single time that I've been on a team that you're just having fun and you're just all enjoying each other, you're gonna have success. That's all I gotta say.
This has been Tristan Davis from Niagara Wheatfield. Tristan, thanks for your time. And thank you, Tristan, for your time. We apologize for the audio difficulties, but really to sum it up, the last time the Falcons won was in 2020, and because of the ongoing COVID pandemic, the Falcons weren't able to really celebrate with all their classmates in the hall. So that's really been the big motivation that Tristan told to me in the interview, that the Falcons are really looking forward to trying to accomplish that goal and go beyond sectionals this postseason. Let's take a look now at the Class A bracket. The 13 teams in this Class A bracket, you would see at the very top. Number 1, Williamsville East will be in the semifinals on October 20th. That will be this upcoming Thursday. They will face either Kenmore West or Hamburg in the 8-9 matchup. The other semifinal on the top part of the bracket, Will South will be hosting West Seneca West, a 4-13 matchup. Amherst will face Sweet Home. So it could be Williamsville East taking on either Ken West or Hamburg. And then at the bottom, Will South, West Seneca West, Amherst, or Sweet Home. Paul, just really quickly, what stands out to you from that bottom half of the first semis from those 4 teams?
Again, I think West. I think Kenmore West. Now, I'm prejudiced. I'm a grad. So I would think Kenmore West is going to handle Hamburg. And I think Will South will step up and beat West Seneca West. Amherst over Sweet Home. They're just a better team. Coach Fidelis, great coach. He's been doing it a long time. So then, I'm going to end up with, having to say, so we're going to get to the championship. I think it's going to be Will East. And then, my heart's going to get into South because I'm just going to, lay it out for Coach Mack. And then, as I told a few other players of South, because we're close to those kids, I said, East is a champion till you beat them. So if this is your year, you have to go forward. Now, they're going to be very difficult to beat. So I have to put my common sense ahead until they're beaten. East is the best team in that division.
And let's take a look at the other half of this bracket. I misspoke. It will be a quarterfinal host match for Williamsville East on Thursday the 20th. It'll then be the semifinals at Ojai Stadium on October 24th, next Monday. And then the overall Class A finals on October 29th at Sweet Home. Taking a look at the bottom of the bracket here, we have Star Point, Kenmore East, bailing it out, going to take the winner will take on Niagara Wheatfield, the number 2 seed, on Thursday the 20th, and that's a 6 p.m. start. For North Tonawanda, it'll be a 3:30 start on Thursday. NT is the 3 seed. They'll take on either Grand Island or West Seneca East in the bottom bracket to get to the quarterfinals. Again, it'll be going all the way, Ojai Stadium in the semis and the finals, Sweet Home. Very quickly, guys, if you have a prediction for the finals, who's it going to be, the 2 top teams?
We're going all the way to the final?
Yes.
Okay, we're going to go to Niagara Wheatfield, and I'm going to pick out North Tonawanda. I watched them. I just think North Tonawanda is a team that you better not take for granted. They're very good technically. They're super aggressive, and that Wheatfield North Tonawanda game is going to be, buckle up your chin straps. That's going to be a physical game.
Potentially a matchup. And Alex, if you're looking at Williamsville East, the number 1 seed overall, is there a team that could potentially knock them off?
I think if it's going to happen, it'll be Will South on their half of the bracket. I feel like Will South, with the emotions, with the loss of Coach Mack, I feel like they're going to want to succeed for him. I feel like If they can execute well, Will South could be the one to bust this bracket.
And we'll have to wait and see. Again, the Class A bracket starting tomorrow at the pre-quarter finals. The quarters with the host teams, the higher seeds. Semis will be next Monday at All High Stadium for both matchups, 5:30, 7:30. And then Sweet Home High School is hosting the overall Class A championship on October 29th. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll take a look at the Class B bracket. B1 and B2, get ready. You're watching the girls soccer playoff preview of West New York Athletics.
With exclusive buyer insights and our 100% money-back guarantee, we're confident we'll find buyers for your home. Howard Hanna. Home happens here.
Logistics Plus is a global transportation provider headquartered in Erie, PA, with locations worldwide, including right here in Western New York. Logistics Plus is consistently recognized as a fast-growing transportation and logistics company, great supply chain partner, top freight broker, leading project cargo manager, and a great place to work. With a strong passion for excellence, our 500-plus employees put the plus in logistics. Call our Buffalo office today for an efficient, personal approach for all of your transportation needs.
Sometimes it just isn't your day. We all need a little help from time to time. That's why we're committed to providing safe, quick, and cost-effective pediatric care. And we keep it simple. Just walk in. We're here for you. Learn more today.
And welcome back to our girls soccer playoff preview. Well, with Paul Gachota and Alex Colsey, I'm Joe Kraus. Big thanks to Francis Beck behind the scenes as well, as we are making our way to Class B. 26 total teams. We have 12 in Class B1, 14 in Class B2. And just a reminder, it will be an overall crossover match to determine the overall Class B winner to advance to the Far West Regionals on November 5th, held at Niagara Wheatfield. You got to go starting, though, November 1st, 7:30 at Sweet Home High School, the winner of Class B1 and B2. We're going to jump right in with Class B1 here, starting with the Tonawanda Warriors. Their head coach, Christopher Uppington. The Lady Warriors are trying to bounce back. They lost in the first round of the postseason, but they have a lot of veterans on this team with Victoria Capabello, Lily Ojanich, Maddie Kramer, Olivia Scott, Lauren Kozlowski, Kaylee Wright, and Brianna Dussault really forming that team for the Warriors. Wright and Kira Meadows really providing the two players that have stepped up big for Tonawanda, who finished 9-3-1 overall here in 2022. Really the challenges, especially in the postseason, actually the season itself, fitting in some practice time was really the big challenge that Coach Uppington said for the Warriors, is trying to build a stronger defense, giving up too many goals, and really just trying to keep that defensive mind going into the sectional play, really trying to take things one thing at a time, trying to win the first game and seeing how it goes from there. So that's how Tonawanda is coming into the postseason. And Paul, we have a traditional school in Buffalo now, the City Honored Centaurs, trying to redeem themselves after losing in the sectional finals.
Yeah, and I just love city schools competing against the suburbs. So Coach Jason Mullen, he wrote a few things that I just love. But first, we're going to give kudos to Eleanor Korzak, a senior defender, Uma Beterachichi. She's a senior forward, Ava Perks, the senior keeper. Players who were surprising this year, Jane Kellett, a freshman midfielder, and Charlotte Calder, a sophomore midfielder. What I love those younger people. It's showing like these kids are really getting it in the city. And what's his challenge is injuries, but or health. He put so it's injury plus illness, because in schools this is the time for the flu, so you have to get your rest. Challenges, things that are different in the city. Challenges for Buffalo is competition. There's only so many good teams. And then busing. Nobody would think out in the suburbs busing. It's hard in the city. It's much more difficult. So the things I love what he wrote, to continue to enjoy one another, have fun, and have belief. They've lost two. They've lost in the last two finals that they've appeared in, 219 and 221. They have to play their concept. I just love his team-oriented stuff. And then what do you have to do to be successful, or what's your expectations? Play our style. do what we do. Don't worry about what they do. Control what we can control. It's always the motto that I believe in. Just do what you can do. And then what are the other things? Is his play, but also something very simple. Sleep. Eat properly. Social habits to accomplish the goal to being the first women's team in Buffalo to win a sectional title in soccer. It would be huge for City Honors.
Absolutely, that will be huge. City Honors is the number 1 seed in the bracket that we will show you in just a couple of minutes. But, Alex, a big traditional team down in Olean, the Huskies and their coach, Dan Freeman, they have a lot to say as well.
Yep, lost in the first round of the playoffs last year. They were in the thick of things right to the end in that CCA West 1 division this year. Ended up finishing, I believe, 4th in that division behind Jamestown, Allegheny Limestone, and Fredonia. Led by Emily Gibbons and Jess Faison up front. Allie Stayer, Lily Shana in the midfield. Liv Kratz and Addie Pierre on the back end. They've been dealing with injuries, dealing with COVID. Trying to overcome that, trying to get healthy come playoff time. The other thing they need to focus on, finishing their shots on net. I saw them play against Jamestown. They had some opportunities, but just couldn't quite capitalize on them. And then the expectations of the coach, he thinks they'll do well. No real high expectations, just, go out there, play your game, do the best you can, get as far as you can.
Olean with a 9-6-1 overall record this season as the Olean Huskies. Meanwhile, the Albion Eagles looking to fly through the air here in the Class B1 around their coach Maddie Baker, looking to redeem themselves after losing in the quarterfinals last fall, but they have a host of players. They have 2 top forwards, Cameron London and Sophia Albanese. Then at midfield, Olivia Crenning. On defense, Allison Gibson. And in net, Abby Wittenberg, really forming the team for the Eagles this season. And a couple of surprising players that were listed out of Albion. You got to look at number 5, Kayla Bergio, emerging as a top midfielder for the program. And on defense, number 9, Rory Higgins. But like many teams, as Paul just mentioned a moment ago, injuries and sickness has really been both challenges for the Eagles team this season. And one thing to try to get some more success with is scoring after giving up goals early on, whether it's down the stretch or early on, just trying to find more consistency on the offensive end if you are the Albion Eagles. But this is a team, as Coach Orr Baker said, as I imagine, Alex, you might remember, back in 2017 with this team, they started as a very low seed, ended up going to sectionals and made it all the way to the sectional final. So, as we said, folks, here in postseason time, anything goes. You can throw the record books out the window. It's a 0-0 slate. So that's the Albion Eagles. We have another Eagles team, maybe like a little Spider-Man multiverse situation, the Lakeshore Eagles, and Brianna Blas here in Class B1, and Paul Lakeshore is getting ready to go too.
Well, I love the reference. I don't even know what a multiverse is, but go Eagles in any case, right? So the head coach, for the Lakeshore Eagles, Brianna Blas, last year they lost in the first round of the playoffs. They have a couple of sisters, Ava Perzak and Jenna Perzak, a defender. They have Tara Stiles and Brianna Stender on their defense. Who was a surprise? Well, Jenna Perzak, an 8th grader, first year on varsity. She's smart and has great composure. What a great thing to say for an 8th grade player. It's a young team, not a deep roster. We saw some of that in schools this year where kids that weren't coming out to play for whatever reason. So it's a challenge. And then what's one of the things your team needs to do to focus? Refresh from injuries. Remain focused. Injuries can just tear a kid down, but proper mental health, proper physical health, and you can get better. And then in any case, and what are your expectations? And this is what I absolutely love. These are the coaches that are my favorites. For our team, play to the best of their ability, work together, and leave everything you have on the field. Absolutely great words of wisdom. And, I guess we'll say go Eagles, and that way we don't know if it's Albion or if it's Lakeshore.
Lakeshore with 6-9 record heading into postseason play, and we now move to Dunkirk with the Marauders, and Alex, the coach, Chris Petey, really trying to get past that quarterfinal loss, and so far so good for Dunkirk, just trying to get more than, it had 3 wins so far in the season, but Dunkirk has something special down there too.
Yeah, they've got a young team, so, trying to build that up over the years. They've got Lauren McCracken, Angelina Peed, and Sierra Jacques as their front runners. Emma Yaklin has been a huge surprise for them this season. Challenges, they have 13 players on the roster and 1 sub. That I've played
13.
Yeah. You field 11, so having that small of a roster, you get winded not having as many of those substitutes, so that's definitely going to be a big challenge going into the playoffs, trying to keep up with that conditioning and be mentally tough too. That's the one thing they got to focus on, is as long as they keep themselves mentally focused on the task at hand and, try to overcome that, they could play spoiler. And their expectations this year, try to win the game for the second year in a row in the playoffs. Just try to keep building momentum slowly but surely. Take those baby steps to try to build that program up.
We'll wait and see how Dunkirk does this postseason. We now go up to Lewis and Porter with the Lancers, one of the heavyweights in this Class B bracket overall. Again, we're winding down here in Class B1. We'll move to B2 in just a couple of minutes. But with the Lancers, first-year head coach Emily Brooke really keeping the momentum going. The Lancers back in 2020 won the Class A2 bracket. Then they moved down in 2021 and still brought home a sectional title in Class B1, and they're looking to keep things going. Once again, the Lancers went all the way to the state Final Four last fall, and it's really started with one of the top goal scorers, maybe the top goal scorer in West New York, Sophia Auer, leading the way for the Lancers offensively, along with Jordan Nicola and Elena Kunik and Emily Stefik leading the way for the Lancers. And Haley Conrad and Emily Mountain have really stepped up for first-year head coach Emily Brooke as well. The challenges, of course, having a new coach on the sidelines, a new defensive back group as well, but really heading into this postseason play, if you're Newport, the goal is to continue to work as one team, and they have done one heck of a job. 10-4 overall, 9-2 of the Niagara Frontier League, and that's really something special, Paul, having a first-year head coach just continuing that momentum.
Yeah, to continue the momentum, to lose a star player, come in with a new back line. They've had a sensational year, really.
And we'll now move on to the Maryvale Flyers here in Class B1, Paul, with Tracy Poole. What can we expect from Maryvale?
Well, last year they lost in the quarterfinals. The players who they're really counting on: Katie Howe, Aviana Petruzzo, Mia Caesar, Monet Caesar, Soleil Lingle Marshall, and Sienna Ranchler. What new players? They got a few new ones: Da Nan, Reagan Pazone, and Sam Sischler. So again, what's been the challenges? And we've heard it a lot this year. For some reason, injuries. It's been a challenge. They're back to full health, so they're hoping for good things coming in the playoffs. And what do they need for future success? Continue to stay healthy, communicate well, leave it all on the field. I love those kind of things. Like, go out there, play your very best. We need to play to the final whistle with 110% heart and hustle, because anything can happen postseason. As we know, the soccer gods are fickle. So go out there, have fun, and let's see, just drop the ball and see what you can do.
Maryvale coming into an 8-8 record, and we now shift to East Aurora. Alex and Craig Polson, that squad right at the top, near the top, 10-6 overall. He's probably very excited with what his team can do too.
Yep, and the Lady Blue Devils, coming off of last season, they lost in the semifinals, looking to redeem themselves, try to get to the sectional championship this year. They'll be led by their senior midfielder, Anna Bean, and their senior defender, Sage Tyken. Big surprises for him this year: Gabby Berusik, who's been a great finisher for him, especially on those set plays. She was holding a midfield position since her freshman year, and now she's playing at forward, the main target for East Aurora to try to put that ball in the net. Challenges they've been facing is losing their shape defensively and lack of sustained possessions. And then the thing that they need to focus on to have success, shore up the defense like he said, and avoid those high-scoring end-to-end games back and forth, those shootouts. Try to keep it to a low-scoring game. And they feel they can compete with any of the top teams in Class B, which if you're a coach and you have that kind of confidence in your team, that's good.
East Aurora 10-6 on the season. They advanced in looking to have some more fun here in 2022. We now take a look at the Iroquois Chiefs, looking to redeem themselves. They lost in the sectional finals to Lewiston Porter last season, but Heather Ross and her squad are ready to go. Olivia Lyons, Ariana Blackowitz, Eva Messenger, Tessa Muskoff, Mia Ferrari, Olivia Skutnik, Lexi Zalowski, and Molly Miscall, all coming back this season, really leading the way. There are a bunch of newcomers as well for this Iroquois Chiefs team, a very traditional program down in Class B, and really starting with having a young goalkeeper, really one of the challenges for this Iroquois team and really trying to play to the ability level, meaning playing the ball, moving into space, and that's really what Iroquois is going to try to do and continue doing heading into the postseason play. Winning the sectionals, the crossovers, going all the way. Basically, always reach for the stars is what their coach, Heather Ross, said in our questionnaire. But Iroquois in Class B1, they are ready to go. And we now move to Depew, the last team in Class B1. Paul has the Wildcats, and what are they expecting this postseason?
Well, Depew is another team that's in the building process. Their key players this year have been Olivia Gergamas, Michaela Seward, Olivia Lazard, and Anna Mackey. Players that have really come on, Michaela Seward and Mariah Italian names, and I'm Italian, right? Saracelian. Any case, what can they do to get on? They've been a lot of injuries. But they can play multiple positions, and you know what? They're going to go out there and again, they're going to do the very best they can, and see where this playoff takes them.
So that's Class B1. We're going to shift to Class B2. We're start things off with Alex with the Falconer Cassadaga Valley Golden Cougars, a team you're very familiar with, and their coach, Brett Johnson.
Oh, yeah. I've covered quite a few of their games this year. A lot. I've told all the Falconer people I'd be talking about them. So they lost in the first round of the playoffs last year. Look at the bounce back this year. They had a really hot start to the start of the season. Kind of cooled off at the end of the bit, but up front, they're led by Kayla Lynn, who had 16 goals on the season. She is very fast up in that midfield and that forward. She's definitely their biggest threat. Emma Powell, Mary Lundmark, they're holding down the four in the midfield. Ellison Baglia, 8th grade goaltender. She's been phenomenal for the Golden Cougars this year. Natalie Dawsey, Emily Anderson have been their biggest surprises. Anderson, a couple weekends ago, she got the game-winning goal against Jamestown in overtime, an absolute thriller of a game. The challenges, though, that Faulkner's been facing this year, they've controlled a lot of their possession in games. I have seen this, but they haven't been able to put the ball in the net as of recent. They like I said, they cooled off on that second half of the season. So they're just trying to keep their heads up and try to break through and trying to build on that to succeed this postseason, work together as a team, trust each other, don't give up, and want it more than the other team.
Falconer, Cassadaga Valley, a combined school 7-7-1 this season. As Alex said, they cooled off a little bit, but the Akron Tigers are ready to roar down in Class B2 with head coach Ed Appholz. The Akron Tigers lost in the sectional semifinals for Class B1 last season, for B2, last season, but Katie Leeds, Sydney Brandel, Ava Blockwitz, and Alana Susfolk leads it forward. Brandel at midfield, and Blockwitz and Susfolk on defense, and the goalkeeper, remember her name, frame. Sarah Kidder really leading this way for the Akron Tigers, and a couple of players to keep an eye on if you're heading out to their games. Olivia Novak and Gracie Leaker, if I'm saying that correctly, the two surprise players for Akron so far. The main goal from head coach Ed Apples really heading into postseason play is scoring, and doing so consistently, and really just being competitive with a chance to go deep into sectionals. That's his expectation for this Akron Tigers team. Again, they reached the sectional semifinals last fall. He said they're a better team this year than last. So that's a look at the Akron Tigers as we now toss it back to Paul with the Eden Raiders and the coach Kevin Wiltman trying to keep his team going in the right direction as well.
Okay, and so last year, Eden lost in the quarterfinals. The key players this year have been Haley Pompeo, the keeper, who unfortunately has been ill now, so they've had a substitute in. Maggie Zettel, Brianne Hall, Hannah Pompeo, obviously Haley's sister. And he said, what was the surprise players? Hannah being a ninth grader. So she's played very well for a young girl without a lot of experience. So what has been the biggest challenge? Well, they have to score more goals, obviously, to win. But the biggest problem has been losing his keeper to illness, Haley Pompeo. It created a huge challenge because he probably didn't have a backup. Sometimes a lot of these schools only have one backup keeper, so now they had to take a field positional player off the field, which only, weakens the overall staff. So they have their work cut out for them, and I'm sure that they're going to just try to do the very best that they can do come these playoffs.
And we're going to take a look now at Silver Creek. Looking for their first win of the season, heading into postseason play with Coach Jesse Hams. And Alex, what can we expect from the Silver Creek Black Knights?
Well, up front, they've had Angelina Pacifici. She's played forward or center defense. Sam Rankin has been playing more in the center on defense, but she's possibly out the remainder of the season. That'd be a big blow for this Silver Creek team if she cannot play in the playoffs. Kim Bauer has been key for them in net, along with Brooke Waterman and Brianna Espinosa on defense. Big surprises for them this year: Chloe Carnes, Molly Shaw, Riley Weiskerger, Kyla Ziegler. All of them are 8th graders. And then Meadow Azarella, a 9th grader. So, based off of that, young team. Very young team. So, they're starting between 5 or 6 8th and 9th graders every game, and also trying to overcome those long-term injuries that have made trying to get that consistency to gel together as one unit a little bit more difficult. So they want to continue working on, controlling that first touch, keeping their shape offensively and defensively, and then just doing everything they can on the field. And they're playing a tough game against a quality opponent. So, they're not expecting much. Maybe go out there, shot the team that they're playing, and put out a win. I mean, it's a young team. You're just trying to build experience. Go out there. Go give them a difficult time.
Definitely a youth movement going down at Silver Creek. We're going to take a look now at Fredonia Hillbillies to continue Class B2 coverage on our girls soccer playoff preview show. Fredonia and their head coach Dan Tomaszewski looking to rebound after they lost in the sectional final last fall to Fredonia Roy Hart down the stretch. But Fredonia looking to rebound in this one. Annie Gondek, Sophia Gullo, Ella Cooperman all provide that offensive opportunities, along with Claire Marshall, Riley Beers both at midfield, and Josephine Tomaszewski, a big star on defense for the Hillbillies. And the goalkeeper, Sarah Davis, has really stepped up down the stretch for this Fredonia team. Sarah Davis in between the net, Kelly Draggett as well at midfield for Fredonia. 10-5 overall on the season. They've graduated some quality players. They're now just looking for some consistency with this new group and hopefully get back to the sectional finals coming up in a couple of weeks. But, Paul, we have now another traditional team, the Roy Hart Rams. Rams and longtime coach Richard Jennings, they are also trying to rebound after losing in the sectional finals last year.
Right, a very good team. This year, he's coach talked about key players: Ava Livergood, Amelia Constanti, Grace Parker, Nadia White. They have a strong midfielders with Caitlin Mittler. It's been just a phenomenal group, he felt. He mentioned each of his girls has stepped up in big ways throughout the season. That's how you become a good team. Different players playing extra hard or extra big in different games. It's hard to just pick 2 girls. That's a real sign of a great team. And what has been his challenges? An injury to a keeper at the beginning of the season, and then they had to work through that adversity and still played strong. So good luck again in the playoffs. For Royalton, and they lost in the sectional final last year, and I'm sure their goal is to win it this year.
The Rams are 12-2 on the season. We'll be showing the bracket in just a couple moments here, but Alex, I believe this is a team you know really well, the Southwestern Trojans, ready to go.
Yep, the other side of Jamestown, we went from Falconer, now we go the West Ellicott, the Southwestern Trojans, coached by Derek Hauser, lost in the semifinals last year. This year, an extremely young team, a lot of sophomores, a lot of the juniors, I think only maybe 1 or 2 seniors, led by Kaylin Carnes, Lexi Lundmark, and Mallory Atwater. Brea Beaver in net for Southwestern. I believe she's a freshman this year. She's been stellar for the Trojans. We streamed the game a couple weeks ago against Jamestown. Beaver stopped, I think, 13 Jamestown shots in a 1-0 shutout win in overtime. She's been phenomenal for them. But when I talked to Coach Hauser after that game, injuries, COVID, they've had a pretty depleted roster the last couple of weeks. And then last season, graduating 8 seniors, like I said, a very young team. So trying to, capitalize on their goal-scoring opportunities, get experience for these younger girls, and then try to get as deep into the postseason as they can with this young roster, just trying to build experience to try to get back to that level that Southwestern is known for, because this is a program that traditionally has been stellar in girls soccer.
Southwestern 8-8 heading into Class B2 action. And our last team from Class B2 and the last from Class B overall, the Salamaker Warriors and their coach Kirsten Furlong trying to get past after bowing out in the first round of the postseason last fall. But they have some successful players coming back: Mariah Downey, Harley Brown, Summer Downey, the sister of Mariah, as well as Grace Hodara, Aubrey Hogan, Alina Cook, and Tia Luke, really being some top playmakers, and a host of surprising players as well. You have Maddie Lafferty and Shay Monahan, Kiana John, Bella Wolf, Melina Massagli, Georgia Miller, and Kylie Slater, all really stepping up for the Salamaker team, and really they're trying to just focus on the little things. That's been the challenge all season, is trying to clean up some of the little things, the details, the passing to the feet, getting those quick shots off. So Salamaker, they haven't won a playoff game in at least 4 years, a postseason victory in at least 4 years for the Salamaker team. So getting a postseason win would be, in the words of their coach, a wonderful opportunity. So that is a look at Class B1 and B2. We're going to break the brackets down in just a moment. But first, here's one of the top playmakers. Francis went one-on-one with Sophia Auer out at Lew-Port.
I'm with Sophie Auer of the Lewiston Porter girls soccer team. Sophie, you guys are one of the best teams in Class B this year. What's been the key to your team's success?
Really just working hard in practice, getting out on that game field and going 110%. And also this year, we've had many girls step up to take on positions that they normally wouldn't have played because we graduated our entire back line last year. So this year it's really been working on just getting those girls ready to come out in the game and play that position the best that they can.
All right, you've had a pretty successful year yourself, over 25 goals. What's been the key for you individually?
For me individually, I would have to say it's my team. I have told them that I would not be where I am today without them. The experiences that I've gained from just being on this team and being on the teams before, all the coaches have just helped me become the player I am today. When I go out on that field, I have the easiest job. All I have to do is put the ball into the net. You usually don't see how much work goes into that from the defenders, the goalie, the midfielders. It's just the ball goes in the net and we score. But all of those girls who do all the hard work to get that ball up to the net, that's where the really important stuff takes place.
All right, you're getting ready for the Class B playoffs. Is there an opponent that, I don't want to say scared is the wrong word, but maybe that you kind of keep an eye on, or they're always tough for you?
Yeah, so definitely like the three big teams, East Aurora, City Honors, and Iroquois. They're all going to be some really hard games, and we just got to look at these games as a whole. We just got to say, okay, we know every team that we play is going to be good from this point on, so we just have to focus on the next game and winning that game, and then shift to the other game after that.
You guys made it to the state championship last year. What did you learn from that experience, and what do you guys need to do to take the next step?
It was such an amazing experience, and I feel that that experience that we had last year is going to help us get to that same place this year. And then as soon as we get there, we're going to turn on a switch and we're going to say it's not happening the same way it happened last year. We're going to go 100%. We're going to work our butts off to really just win that game and change the outcome as it was last time.
Final question. Give me one thing you guys need to do in order to be successful this postseason.
Definitely just come to practice focused. If we're not focused in practice, we're not going to be focused in a game. You practice how you play. If you go out on that practice field and you're not ready, you're not going to win that game.
You practice how you play. That's a big answer from Sophia Auer, a Lewiston Porter, heading to Damon University next fall to play basketball, but ready to go for one last soccer run. Here are the brackets, as we've been telling you about. Starting with Class B1, the pre-quarterfinals starting on Wednesday. Depew, Maryvale, East Aurora, Dunkirk, Olean, Lakeshore, and then at the very bottom, the 6-11 matchup, Tonawanda and Albion. City Honors is the number 1 seed in Class B1. And then on the flip side, as we take a look here at Class B2, those will also be on Wednesday. Falconer, Casadega, Southwestern. The winner of that will take on number 1, Roy Hart, on Friday. The other pre-quarter matchups, Alden, Medina, Allegheny Limestone, and Salamanca. Allegheny Limestone, the 5 seed, 8-6-2 overall. And then at the bottom, Akron or Eden will take on number 2, Olmsted. Fredonia will take on Fredonia and Silver Creek are also in the pre-quarters, and Springville, Newfane to wrap up the entire 26-team bracket for B1 and B2. Paul and Alex, I'll ask you quickly, your team from Class B1 and your team from Class B2 for the crossover coming up on November 1st at Sweet Home.
So, my heart tells me City Honors, but my brain's going to tell you Lewiston Porter.
Alex?
I'd have to agree with him on that one. I mean, you look at the attitude that Sophie Auer has in her interview saying, you practice how you play. I feel like Lew-Port, if they continue to stay focused, they'll be just fine.
So there you go. The Class B bracket, the crossover, the big date, November 1st at Sweet Home High School, starting at 7:30. So the B1 bracket we showed you will take on the winner of Class B2. That's on November 1st. We're going to take a quick break for you. When we come back on our girls soccer playoff preview, we take a look at Class C. We'll be right back on Western New York Athletics.
Western New York Immediate Care's new locations are now open. Whether you've suffered a minor injury or just aren't feeling well, Western New York Immediate Care provides safe, quick, high-quality care at an affordable cost. Our clinicians are trained to diagnose and treat non-life-threatening injuries and illnesses and are equipped with on-site x-ray and labs to help you feel better, faster. With 4 convenient locations open 7 days a week, Western New York Immediate Care is here to help when and where you need us. Visit us online to learn more.
Logistics Plus is a global transportation provider headquartered in Erie, PA, with locations worldwide, including right here in Western New York. Logistics Plus is consistently recognized as a fast-growing transportation and logistics company, great supply chain partner, top freight broker, leading project cargo manager, and a great place to work. With a strong passion for excellence, our 500-plus employees put the plus in logistics. Call our Buffalo office today for an efficient, personal approach for all of your transportation needs.
And welcome back to our 2022 Girls Soccer Playoff Preview Show on West New York Athletics, along with Mr. Soccer Paul Catrota and the man from the Southern Tier, Alex Colsey. I'm Joe Krause. Thank you all for watching tonight on this Monday evening. Francis Beck is our man in the chair, as they say. We're going to go now to Class C with the Wilson Lake women all the way up north in Niagara County and their coach, Thomas Bea. Wilson has had a lot of success in the past few seasons, including last fall. They lost in the sectional final game, and they've had a lot of returning players here in 2022, starting with their forwards, Addison Leah, Maddie Schultz, their midfielders, Rianne Ferry, Leah Coy, Peyton McGinnis, and Lily Avery. And on defense, it's the trio of Marissa Schultz, Kaylee Alcorn, and Maddie Miller for this Wilson program. They did, however, Lily Coy was injured for some time during the season with an ankle injury, but will be back to start the postseason play as the number 1 seed. The Wilson Lake women starting this upcoming Friday. Wilson lost to Frewsburg in last year's sectional final down in Class C, but Leah Coy back in the fold for Wilson, and the main goal for Wilson is playing their best soccer as possible when entering sectionals. They just haven't done that up to this point. Again, they're shooting for the sectional championship, and Wilson has lost in the finals each of the last 3 seasons. So Wilson coming into this one, the number 1 seed, 11-4 overall, 9-1 in the Niagara Orleans League. So Wilson starting us off here in Class C, and we're going to go to Paul again with Portville.
Portville is a very, very, very good team. 13-2-1, undefeated in the CCAA division, led by Mike Martz. They lost in the semifinals last year, so they're going to be a very good team. They're leaning on Leah Wine and a sweeper, and that kind of caught me by surprise that someone's still using sweepers, but that's good for them. Tiagan Kasansky, Grace Garpe, Megan Lyle, Olivia Dean, and Mackenzie Harmon is their goalkeeper, and those are the players, their key players. Grace is an 8th grade forward, so again, a young player being a very big contributor to a very good team. Ariana Hatch, 11th grade midfielder, and Jenna Went and her sister, and I'm assuming could be a twin, Julia Went. This is just a very, very, very strong team. Probably look forward to having a very, very good playoff and hopefully a championship.
So Portville, the number 2 seed in the Class C bracket. We now take a look at number 6, Randolph, and Alex, the coach, Alexa Trotman, trying to get past that quarterfinal loss last year, but a lot of firepower coming back.
Oh, yeah. This Randolph team, Randolph is another one of those third-tier schools that has traditionally been really good at soccer. They lost in the quarterfinals, like you said. They're led up front by Kyra Pence and Zoe Dickerson. Elena Bunker has been their biggest surprise players. What they need to focus on to have success, keep the momentum they had from the end of the season, and commit to their style of play. And then expectations, they're hoping to compete and make it to the Class C semifinal.
So that's a big run coming up for the Randolph Cardinals. As we make our way here in the Class C bracket, the big team, Frewsburg, they have won the Class C title in Section 6 in each of the last 3 seasons. So we could possibly have here Wilson in Randolph Chapter 4, Wilson Frewsburg Chapter 4 in the sectional finals with the Frewsburg Bears and their coach Scott Stone going all the way to the state playoffs, reaching the league championship game last fall. But they have a lot of success with their forward Ava Jimerson, their center mids, Alexandra Holper, which you'll hear from in just a moment on our program, as well as Tatum Jimerson. Then on the outside, Ashlyn Samuelson, Kaden Bush has it offensive firepower, and the center backs, J.C. Kappa and Gracie Conlin for this Frewsburg Bears team. Again, they're looking for a 4th straight Section 6 Class C title, but they're trying to just stay humble and focus on that ultimate goal of winning a state championship. So that's a look at Frewsburg. Again, potentially a Part 4 matchup between Wilson and Frewsburg down the line, but we have a couple more teams that would like to make some noise, and Paul, Chautauqua Lake is up next.
In Chautauqua Lake, the Thunderbirds 9-2-1 in the CCAA West. So another good team led by Coach Cole Gleason. And down in the Southern Tier, they've got some really, really good, strong teams this year. They have an outstanding defensive sweeper in Emma Walcott, a center midfield in Jada Cole. She's been very, very influential in their success. Paige Sarpentine, center midfield position. She stepped in and has been a huge facilitator. I love people who create assists also besides goals. Lucy Gates, a freshman who's been a go-to goalkeeper as a freshman. That's just says a lot about that young lady. And then the greatest challenges that they face this season is overcoming nagging injuries, which has been a theme this fall. They need to really just trust in each other is what their coach believes, and knowing that each other, somebody has their back. So you have my back, and she'll have my back or your back. And you know what we're talking about, being a team. And you know what? To compete to their fullest potential and to be one of the two teams left at sectional championship game and go out there and win it. So a great positive attitude from that team, great positive attitude from that coach. I love that.
And to wrap up Class C, Alex, we have a merger team once again, Westfield Brockton. What do they have to say going into sectional play?
So Coach Adriana Gudlock is coaching a team that didn't participate in the playoffs last year. This year led by McCartney Mortimer and Emma Busulachik in net for Westfield Brockton. Naomi Audi has been their biggest surprise. They've got a small roster. What they're trying to focus on, one game at a time. Don't try to get ahead of yourselves. Just focus on the next game. And if you get past that, you focus on the next one. So they're hoping to win their first playoff game and just go from there. Again, young program just trying to take those baby steps to build up.
So those are the responses that we've heard from Class C for our playoff preview show. And Alex went one-on-one with Alexander Holtberg of Frewsburg. Let's take a look at how their interview went.
I'm with Alex Holtberg of the Frewsburg Bears in Class C. Alex, you guys are one of the best teams in Class C, actually probably the best team in Class C. What's been the key to success for you guys this season?
I would say the way we work as a team. We're always passing, moving up the ball, and there's not one player that's better than the other. We use that to our advantage.
You've been one of the top scorers on your team this year and one of the top scorers in Class C as well. What's been working for you as far as individual success this season?
I would say that my hard work and dedication played a huge role in how I play, and I would say I wouldn't be the player I am without my teammates. They always set me up in a perfect position.
All right, and then is there a team you guys are looking at in Class C coming up in playoffs that you feel is a bit of a challenge to you guys?
I wouldn't say we're concerned about any team. We feel like we can beat any team if we play our style of soccer.
All right, and then you guys have won 3 straight sectional championships. You're looking for your 4th straight, but you're also looking to climb over the hump and finally win the regional. What do you guys need to do to finally get over that hump?
I would say keep working hard and play our full 80 minutes, and we should be fine.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Nicely done, Alex, with the interview with Alexander Holtberg, one of the top players in Class C with Frewsburg. So let's take a look now at the Class C bracket for the 2022 Section 6 season. We have an 8-team bracket. It'll be Cattaraugus, Little Valley, and Pine Valley, Gowanda in the first pre-quarterfinal round. That winner will take on number 1 seed Wilson this upcoming Friday. Then we have in the second pre-quarters Westfield Brockton and JFK, the number 10 seed 7-10 matchup. That winner, those two, the winner of that will take on number 2 Portville on Friday. We also have Chautauqua Lake and Holland West Valley in another quarterfinal match, and Frewsburg Randolph at the very bottom. As we mentioned, the winner will advance all the way, could go for the Class C championship being held at Dunkirk on October 29th, 11 a.m., a morning matinee. Wilson has not won a sectional title since 2002. That was the same year they went to the regional championship. But as we have said, it's been Frewsburg and Wilson the last 3 years in the sectional finals, and Frewsburg has won all 3 times. Alex, you're the guy that knows this very well. What is the outcome here for Chapter 4 of this matchup, the Lake Women and the Bears?
I'll be on call for this game. This is Frewsburg's game to lose. There's a reason that they've won 3 straight sectional championships. I saw this team play a couple weeks ago. This team is phenomenal. They string passes together really well. They communicate together really well. They've got a whole bunch of offensive weapons. Their midfield is spectacular. If they continue to stay focused on the task at hand, this should not be a problem for them at all.
Frewsburg heading into sectional play, a plus-minus of +79. They have not allowed a goal yet, the Frewsburg Bears, but Wilson, potentially, they are the number 1 seed this year, 42 goals on the season. We will wait and see. Again, it'll all start on October 19th with the pre-quarters, and the winner, it will all go to the Class C finals on October 29th at Dunkirk High School. So there you go, the hot take from Alex tonight. When we come back, it's our last segment for Section 6 girls soccer. We have Monsignor Martin on the way as well, but we're going to go to Class D. We'll be right back. You're watching the girls soccer playoff preview on Western New York Athletics.
Does he do car? Forget about it. How about home? Forget about it. Does he get good rates? Forget about it. And you're saying there's no problem too big for this guy? Forget about it. Paul, this is Johnny, the guy we've been talking about. Johnny, Paul Wolf.
Mr. Wolf, it's nice to meet you. Thank you for the invite.
Not a problem. It's Paul, not Mr. Wolf.
Oh, sorry, Paul.
Johnny, forget about it. For all your insurance needs, call 835-WOLF and...
Avoiding care can lead to worse problems. Don't delay care. We're here for you.
When you're ready to buy a home, start your search at howardhanna.com. You'll be the first to see new listings, find similar properties, and connect with a local Howard Hanna agent. Get started today at howardhanna.com.
And welcome back to our girls soccer playoff preview show. We're having a fun time here at headquarters. I'm Joe Krause, along with Paul Controlla, Alex Colsey. Just one error on my note. It was 2001 that Wilson won their last Section 6 title and went on to regional championship play and won that too. 2001, not 2002, so my apologies up to the great folks up in Wilson, New York. Okay, so we are going to Class D action in Section 6 right now. We have Monsignor Martin on the way to close out our show too. But in Class D, it's a 4-team postseason bracket, so it'll be 2 semifinals on October 24th. That is next Monday at Dunkirk. Dunkirk High School is also hosting the Class D championship on the 29th, which is next Saturday, I believe. And then the Class D Far West Regional play will be at Niagara Wheatfield on Friday, November 4th. So with all that, we have 4 teams. Paul, you're going to kick us off here with the Ellicottville Central Eagles.
Okay, so we have the Eagles, and also they are flying high in this bracket. The Eagles 10-6, but better 10-2 in the CCAA East. They're led by Tammy Eddy. Longtime coach, I believe, went to the state playoffs last year. This team's very good. Who are the key players: Alyssa Williams, Audrey Herbert, Brooke Butler, Ayala Winslow, and Abby Chuddy. Players that surprised this year: Drew Fisek and Addison John. Another thing I like about this team, they started off with a tougher schedule and a non-league schedule, and then made some adjustments to their formation, and they were just looking to add some new formations to help through the playoffs this year. Biggest keys: communication on the field. Good teams are very good on the field. They move in unison. They back each other up well, and working hard towards a sectional title and hopefully to win at the regionals. You win the regionals, you're in the States. That's their goal.
Absolutely. So, Ellicottville Central, get ready to go in Class D. And this is our fourth team named the Eagles on our broadcast tonight. And, Alex, we have North Collins, made a big run last season and trying to keep things going this year.
Yep, coached by Vincent Finizio. They lost in the sectional final to Ellicottville last year. This year, anchored the net by Haley Jasinski with Kira Puntello in the midfield and Brianna Kazanowski and Jaylee Jimerson up front. Small roster for him this year, dealing with some injuries as well late in the season. So, health, continued improvement on offense will definitely go a long way for him for these two games potentially in this Class D bracket. They're looking to compete for the sectional title this year. It's what they're practicing and preparing for every season with such a small field in Class D.
Absolutely. Again, only 4 teams in Class D. North Collins 6-7-2 overall. And now we're going to take a look at a program that has been very successful across the board for many years in Section 6, the Maple Grove Red Dragons, and their coach, Bethany Seastrom. And Coach Seastrom trying to have this Red Dragons program move past a first-round loss in the postseason last fall, but they have a lot of success. Madeline Seastrom leading the way for Maple Grove this season, along with Morgan Caldwell, Maddie Wadsworth, Alex Caldwell, I believe the sister of Morgan, as well as Megan McGee for this Maple Grove program. Morgan Caldwell and Megan McGee and Emma Riggle really have stepped up for this Maple Grove team that is really trying to find some momentum going into Class D play. They've had some injuries, which is a big result, along with the mostly inexperienced roster this season. Only 3-10-1 overall going into sectional play are the Maple Grove Red Dragons. It's a big goal as a team trying to play for a full 80 minutes and really leave it all on the field, which I guess, Paul, as we transfer to Franklinville, which is your next team, that's really all you want as a coach, just to leave it all out on the field.
Yeah, you really do. Come out, try your best, and see. So Franklinville, the Panthers had a tough year, 1-12, 1-11 in the CCAA East. They're coached by Sydney Surza. Sydney was a Clarence product, went down to St. Bonaventure, a very good player. I'm sure these kids are getting extremely well coached. So this is going to be another opportunity for some of their key players, Sophie Bentley, Sarah Courtney, Olivia Frank, and Kara Asant. They're gonna play the champs, right? They're gonna play Ellicottville in the playoffs. But in any case, it's going to be a trial and error day, right? We're going to try our very best. We'll correct some of the mistakes that we're going to have, and we're trying to build for the next year. So their coach has that in their focus, and hopefully they'll learn something, leave it good, take with you, leave bad on the field, and then, look forward to the following year. Unless, as we said, the soccer gods can be fickle. So could they come and upset them? Of course they could. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. Throw the record books out the window. I've said that a few times tonight. And now we're going to have our Class D player, Ellicottville, looking to go back-to-back sectional titles. Here is our Alex Colsty with Audrey Hurlbert of Ellicottville. Let's take a look.
I'm with Audrey Hurlbert of the Ellicottville Eagles out of Class D. Audrey, you guys are really close to playoffs here. Last week of the regular season, you guys have been top of the class in Class D this year. What's been the key to your guys' success this season?
Well, last year we
lost a lot of key components, so we were really learning how to work as a team this year without those key components, and just working as a team and being a family on and off the field.
You've got 20 goals and 6 assists on the season. What's been the key to your success on the field individually?
Individually, I don't know. It's just I find the back of the net, but I wouldn't be able to do it without my team.
Is there a team in Class D you guys are worried about going into playoffs here? I know Class D is kind of a little bit small. Is there a team you guys are kind of worried about facing, or do you guys feel confident going in?
We're going in with caution. We don't want to go in cocky or anything, but we don't really have anyone we're afraid of.
All right, and then last year you guys won your first Section 6 title in 6 seasons and then moved on to regionals and lost in regionals. So what do you guys need to do to win sectionals again, but also get over the hump for regionals?
I feel like we can do it this year, but we just need to work as a team and remember we're a team.
All right, and then is there anything else that you feel your team needs to do in order to be successful for the postseason?
No, just we got to remain a team. We've been a team throughout the season. We were struggling as a team in the beginning. Our 5 losses in a row really affected us, but we figured it out and worked as a team.
Big thanks to Audrey Hurlbert of the Ellicottville Central Eagles for taking the time with us for our girls soccer playoff preview show for 2022. We're going to take a look now at the Class D brackets on the very bottom of our website over at the section6soccer.com for girls soccer. It's only a 4-team bracket. You can see number 1 Ellicottville taking on number 4 Franklinville. And then North Collins, Maple Grove in the second semifinal. Actually, Ellicottville will be playing in the second one at 7 o'clock. But Ellicottville, since Section 6 started giving out championships in girls soccer, I have the notes right here. Ellicottville has won 11 Section 6 titles, 4 state titles, and 5 regional championships. And oh yeah, Ellicottville, they started it off the very first one in 1990. There was then an 8-year gap. It picked up in 1998 for Class D. They went all the way to states again, and then once more in 99. So they won the very first 3 Class D Section 6 titles. And I guess, Alex, I'll ask you really quickly, is it going to be number 12 this year for Ellicottville?
I honestly think it will be. This team is phenomenal. They've played well the entire season. Class D, unfortunately, that class seems to have shrunk quite a bit as some other schools have moved up. I think for Ellicottville, it shouldn't be that difficult of a task for them to take the Class D sectional title again this season.
So there you go, a 4-team bracket. Again, they'll all be starting next Monday, October 24th at 2 semis, and then the sectional final for Class D on October 29th, 11 a.m. at Dunkirk High School. When we come back, our final segment of our girls soccer playoff preview show, we're going to take a look at the very aforementioned Monsignor Martin bracket. We'll be right back on Western New York Athletics.
Sometimes it just isn't your day. We all need a little help from time to time. That's why we're committed to providing safe, quick, and cost-effective care. And we keep it simple. Just walk in. We're here for you. Learn more today.
Do you insure a lot of businesses?
Yes, we do.
How about restaurants?
We got a bunch.
Do you cover property damage?
Yes, we do.
How about my equipment?
Covered.
How about sewer backup?
We got it.
What if my cook gets hurt?
They're covered.
Foodborne illnesses?
Covered.
What if my party tent goes down?
Covered under property damage.
And you say this is all under one policy?
One policy.
When do I pay?
Once a month.
Just one time?
Just one.
Is there anything you don't cover?
What's your record for consecutive questions asked?
31.
Tables. We don't do tables.
Gotta love Buffalo.
For all your insurance questions, call the Wolf at 835-WOLF.
We realize now more than ever is the perfect time to have the perfect house. We're confident we'll find your dream home. Howard Hanna. Home happens here.
And welcome back for our final segment of the 2022 Girls Soccer Playoff Preview Show. West New York Athletics, we thank you all for joining us tonight, approaching 9 o'clock on the East Coast. So thanks for staying up with us. Jill Krause, Paul Cotrona, Alex Colsey, Francis Beck is dealing with the 1s and 2s behind us on the headsets, but we made it, gentlemen, to our final segment for Monsignor Martin. A quick note, though, as we went through all the Section 6 teams, the NFHS Network will be hosting all of the sectional finals games for Class AA, A, B, C, and D. And if you're just joining us now, we went through all those brackets. You can find out all the information on your team. And again, NFHS Network will be broadcasting the sectional finals for all Section 6. But as we mentioned, we're going to include Monsignor Martin in this special because as their regular season is winding down, they are a couple of weeks away from going to postseason play. We're going to take a look here. The semifinals, Division A and B, will be on Monday, November 1st at the higher seeds, starting at 3 p.m., so that'll be the semifinals. We'll go through all the teams in just a second of who's in A and B. And then the championship for Monsignor Martin will be Saturday, November 6th. It'll be a doubleheader out at Canisius College, the home of the Golden Griffins, my proud alma mater. So here we go with Monsignor Martin. We had 2 responses, both from Division A. And Alex, we're going to start with the Narden Academy Gators.
Yep, coached by Frank Incotrono. They lost in the semifinals last season, looking to improve on that this year. Led by Mary Malloy, Madeline Haggerty, and Genevieve Ricci on defense. Rory Kingsley and Nina Condino have been their surprises on that team. This year, challenges they've been facing, like we've seen with a lot of other schools, multiple stars not being able to play because of injuries. So coming into this postseason, just trying to focus on playing as one unit and expecting to win the league this year.
And again, the Narden Gators, one of 4 teams in Division A of Monsignor Martin for girls soccer. It's Narden, Nichols, Sacred Heart, and our other team we're going to focus on, as they were kind enough to send us a response back, the St. Mary's of Lancaster Lancers. Their coach, Brittany Heist, leading the way for the Monsignor Martins, and last season was very successful for the Lancers. They advanced all the way to the state Final Four, and they won the league championship for the Monsignor Martin. So they have a big momentum coming in. Claire DeAngelis and Kristen Vidal, that's 2 of the top midfielders and playmakers in all of Monsignor Martin, combined for 24 assists. I believe Claire's near the top 10 in goals as well. Gabby Martin on defense, Lena Pinella as the center back, and Teddy Ozinski as the forward. The leading goal scorer on this team as well for this St. Mary's program. But again, they're a very young team. They graduated 3 Division I players last season. They lost 8 of their 11 starters due to either injury or graduation last year, but having the ability to close games is very huge. So Narden and St. Mary's get ready to go toe-to-toe in a couple weeks here in Division A, for the Monsignor Martin. But first we have an interview. Francis went out to Buffalo last week and talked with Linda Olmark, the top goal scorer in Monsignor Martin from Nichols. Let's take a listen.
I'm with Linda Allmark of the Nichols girls soccer team. Linda, you guys are off to a great year this year, the Vikings. What's been the key to your team's success?
The key to our success this year, I think, has been the leadership of our captains so far. And we've had a couple of juniors that have made varsity this year. And I think by the leadership of our captains, they've really been able to improve this year and help the team out a lot.
All right, you're one of the top scorers in all of Monsignor Martin. What's been the key to your individual success this year?
For me, it's just been keeping my intensity up the whole game and getting the great balls from my teammates and just doing my job and finishing them to win the game.
All right, playoffs right around the corner. Is there a team or a couple teams that, I don't want to say concern you the most, but you always gotta, bring your A game for?
I'm just thinking about the next game we're about to play. The next league game's the only thing in my head right now.
All right, you guys fell in the Monsignor Martin Championship last year. What do you guys need to do to change that result?
I think a lot of us has grown from that game, and one thing we need to do is just finish the opportunities we have during the game and not be on our heels right when the game starts, make the other team react. We can't be the ones reacting when the game starts.
And welcome back. Big thanks to Linda Olmark of Nichols for joining us, for taking the time and provide some answers from the Nichols team to provide coverage for Monsignor Martin for our girls soccer playoff preview. The rest of the teams in Monsignor Martin, in case you're wondering, once again, Division A, St. Mary's of Lancaster, Nardin, Nichols, and Sacred Heart are the 4 for Division A. Division B, Buffalo Seminary, Cardinal O'Hara, Mount Mercy Academy, Mount St. Mary Academy, and Park. And all of those teams, the 9 teams in Monsignor Martin, will be competing in the same league like they have this season, and then breaking up Division A and B for the postseason. So, again, best of luck to the Monsignor Martin teams. This playoff bracket will be starting on Monday, November 1st, with the higher seeds hosting for Divisions A and B, and then the Monsignor Martin Championship once again held at Canisius College on Saturday, November 6th. So, gentlemen, we made it through all of our brackets tonight. Section 6, Monsignor Martin, Paul, and then Alex, your takeaway of going through all these brackets, anything that stands out to you?
I just want to congratulate all these teams that are making in the all these teams that are making the playoffs. I loved what I saw by some of the coaches, what they wrote about, how they are really more concerned with the kids going out having fun, going out there and competing, leaving it on the field. Those are the tenets that help you build kids' confidence, have fun. I'm hoping all these young ladies go out and have fun, most of all. And winning, of course, is fun, but when we lose, there's so much fun out there. It's a great game. Go out, compete, do your very best, and just so happy that we were here today and to show a little bit of the shine on the women's game, which I'm very near and dear to, having children who've played soccer in high school. So I'll pass it on to Alex.
Yeah, I think building off of that, one game to represent all the schools in the certain tier, because I feel like us certain tier schools, we don't get as much love when it comes to soccer. And, we've got some very spectacular programs down there. And this year was probably the best year as far as competition goes for the certain tier. So I'm excited to see how these teams in the certain tier shake up against these Buffalo schools. I feel like maybe we can see some things get shaken up in these brackets. I don't know. We'll see. But I'm thankful that you guys allowed me to come up here, joining you guys up from Jamestown. It was well worth the hour and a half drive up here to join you guys to talk about this. I very much enjoyed it and cannot wait to see how these playoffs shake out.
Yeah, it was a pleasure having you, Alex. And I think the big thing for me that's going to be very exciting, a lot of teams in the Niagara Frontier League, North Tonawanda, Niagara Wheatfield, Lewiston, Porter, those 3 especially are slated to have some big postseason runs, and again, it's all going to start here in just about less than 3 hours. We're going to officially kick it off. But that's going to conclude our girls soccer playoff preview show for 2022. A big thanks to my partners, Paul Catrona, Mr. Soccer, and Alex Colsey from the Southern Tier, and also especially to our producer, Francis Beck, the man with the plan. Behind the scenes, a big round of applause to Francis. Thanks, big thanks to you, buddy. All right, that's going to do it from our headquarters. Thank you all for watching the 2022 Girls Soccer Playoff Preview Show on West New York Athletics. Good night, everybody.
Life can be full of surprises, but not always the good kind. That's why we're committed to providing safe, quick, and cost-effective care, and we keep it simple. Just walk in. We're here for you. Learn more today.
I love being home.
There's nothing better than owning the perfect house to come home to. You've earned it, and we'll make it happen. Our local real estate experts and in-house team of financial professionals make buying or selling your home simple. Howard Hanna. Home happens here.